Miss Gonzalez?
Yes?
You doing Senor Caballo's work now?
Yes.
Sign there, please. There's something else. Someone I would like to deliver. Young De Silva is alive.
But he can't. But he was killed. We heard he was killed.
He's alive. Now, look, we've got to get him away from here. Away to England. Now, there's a woman. The widow, Juanita de Noronha. Now, she... Thanks very much, miss.
What is in this?
Samples.
Samples of what?
The oil distillation batches from the refinery. It's for testing.
What else did that man want with you?
Well, there was nothing else.
Nothing? It would be better if you told the truth.
He asked for Senor Caballo, who used to do the job.
And where is Senor Caballo?
You shot him last week.
You say we shot him.
We, the people, had him executed.
Getting very bored with oil. Really, Sir Geoffrey, what a lot of trouble you go to placate a few tycoons in the fuel and power business.
To be fair, Dimmock, I'm sure Norton has not allowed himself to be exploited by vested interests.
Yes, well, we're already spent on this ridiculously small country. We are hiding its president.
Ex-president.
Ex-president in a converted oast house in Kent, safe from the malice of his bloodthirsty opponents.
Such a splendid view of the surrounding countryside from the upper windows. You can see a rabbit coming for miles.
There's usually mink in that part of the country nowadays. No, the point is, hiding an ex-president in exile here is costing us a fortune in security.
Exile is not to be spurned, you know. It gives a splendid opportunity for contemplation.
Gentlemen, please, we're very grateful for the work you've already done in safeguarding President Da Silva.
Ex-president, keep abreast, Norton. No sooner was the misguided fellow out of his country than his splendidly uniformed army leapt into the saddle.
Cavalry, Oldentop?
Revolutionaries, Dimmock.
I've come to ask you if you're prepared to cope with the development of the situation.
Put your cards on the table, Sir Geoffrey. If you come here merely because you are frightened of treading on the toes of oil companies, then I will have no part of it.
This has nothing to do with oil, Dimmock.
Then why do we keep involving ourselves in the affairs of a tiny country sandwiched rather uncomfortably between British Guiana and Venezuela? Tell me, if it were not a stinking rich source of oil, would you or your hypocritical ministers do so much as lift a finger on their behalf?
Yes.
Why?
As you know, Da Silva left his son at home when he came here on his state visit.
The boy was killed in the rioting in the capital.
He's alive.
How do you know?
There are many people loyal to Da Silva in his country. One of them, a girl, got a message to the British consul. He passed it out in the diplomatic bag. That's as much as he or any of our other officials is prepared to do.
Ah, yes, of course, I've got it. If it became known that Britain had meddled internally, we should lose any chance of oil concessions.
You do go on so, Dimmock. You can't expect professional diplomats to risk their careers for the sake of one ex-president's son.
The question is...
No, don't labour the obvious, Norton. You want the boy out without getting involved.
That's it.
So whoever goes into the country to do the job will have no authority, no status, and no help if he gets caught.
Well, I'm afraid that just about sums it up.
You don't want to offend the present jumped-up bunch of army officers in power, nor do you wish to offend the old regime in case it gets back into power.
Well, if you put it like that...
I do.
You do get into some muddles, don't you, Norton?
Yes, and you both enjoy yourselves getting us out of them. Yes.
He's right. We'll need somebody in the oil industry with a good reason for going out there. I don't know anybody in oil, do you, Dimmock?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do.
Mr. Johnson, I hope I haven't offended you by asking you so many questions.
Oh, no, not at all, sir. I hope I've satisfied you.
Well, you certainly know my country very well.
I fear that you'll find many changes.
Oil brings change quicker than anything I know.
Doesn't that worry you?
Well, it's never been my job to worry, sir. We just found the oil, drilled the wells, brought the stuff to the surface, and then moved on and drilled somewhere else.
Leaving the politicians to worry about the consequences and make a mess of them.
I didn't say that, sir.
Tell me, why are you taking these risks for me and my son?
It's a job I've been asked to do.
I see. A job.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that none of my son's enemies, my enemies, must suspect that he's still alive.
Of course.
And you can't just walk out or fly out with him. Somebody will be sure to recognize Pedro.
I've already been told that.
And have you been told how you can get him safely out?
Not yet.
No, I thought not. And for a very good reason. There's no way.
Oh, have faith, sir. In your own country, there's no way of protecting you from assassins. But for the past 6 months, we've done so here.
Yes, of course you're right. But you have an easy task. Look at your beautiful English countryside. What could be more peaceful?
You were saying, sir?
I think you better not concern yourself on my behalf.
I've already agreed to go.
Your Excellency, are you all right, sir?
Yes, thank you, I'm all right. I think I'd better deprive myself of the pleasure of looking at the view in future. Oh, Phillips,
Your Excellency?
would you get the jewel box from my desk, please? The box with the ring in it.
Yes, sir.
I understand that my son's friends are being very cautious about leading you to him. They insist that whoever goes from England should carry some proof of his identity, so they may be sure that my son reaches me.
Very wise of them. And this?
This he will recognize. This is my personal seal. This ring could have come only from me. Then he will know that they're leading him to safety, not to execution.
Come in. Thank you, Senorita Gonzalez. I will tell them the batches can go through now. One moment. Why were the samples a day late?
Because I didn't get them until late yesterday afternoon.
And why not?
Because there was a parade of all the refinery workers that could be spared. A compulsory parade to celebrate the new alliance with Venezuela.
Ah, yes, the parade. But compulsory, Senorita Gonzalez? I think spontaneous would be a better word. After all, we do feel that it's a matter for celebration, don't we? No more hostility between neighboring states, no more stirring up of troubles by foreign powers, no more exploitation. I'm sure you agree with me. All right, Senorita Gonzalez, you will want to catch up with your samples. They must be coming in at a great rate by now. Come in. Mr. Johnson. My dear Johnson, how many years since we met? I was delighted when I heard you were coming, delighted. And here you are, jolly good show.
Nice
Do
to
sit
see you
down.
again, Mr. Martinez.
And now I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask me, yes?
Yes, well, I would certainly appreciate your guidance on 1 or 2 points.
Trade secrets for your government, I think. Sly dogs, the English.
I'm not working for the government.
Oh, not officially, of course. It is the same with us. We know how to keep our interests properly balanced.
For the past 5 years, I have been working as coordinator for the International Tanker Group. It's got nothing to do with the British government.
No official connection. You know, it is hard to think of you in a desk job.
Oh, you, Mr. Martinez?
Not like the old days. Hey, old sport?
Now, you listen to me. What's happening to oil transportation through British Guiana? Our tanker skippers are reporting they're being held up in harbour there for days at a time, sometimes weeks.
There's bound to be a period of unrest, a few administrative difficulties. They won't last.
Yes, but quick turnaround is vital. I don't have to tell you
No,
that.
my dear old chap, you do not have to tell me. You and I, we are professional men. But you know, these military chaps are sometimes a little difficult. They make a bit of trouble when they come to power. We've seen it all happen before, haven't we, you and I? It will blow over.
We want it blown over at once.
I see. Well, in that case, I will have to be frank with you, old chap. We consider that the terminal in British Guiana is obsolete.
Nonsense.
We consider that our best interest would be served if we built a pipeline through Venezuela.
I see. The new regime intend to boycott our beautiful colony then.
Oh, come, my dear Mr. Johnson, let us not spoil a beautiful day with politics. You must look upon this project like a good oil man.
Very well. What throughput do you expect in the next 2 or 3
You
months?
must see the work on the new pipelines, the new pumping stations. We do not waste any time, eh?
Any product lines or just
I must show you the refinery here. See the new spirit among the workers. See the strides we are making.
Yes, I'd appreciate
It must
that.
be splendid for you being out of the world again after so many years behind a desk. Just making out tanker schedules, poring over maps.
Had a call from Norton while you were lingering over your lobster mornay and Gewürztraminer.
How do you know that I had?
You always come in with that gloating expression when you've had lobster and hock.
Well, as a matter of fact, it was rather a fine bottle, almost too spicy, in fact. Quite a year, 57.
I had a good light ale with my steak, non-vintage, though.
As a matter of fact, I did not linger. I stopped off to pick up this map.
Oh, yes, that's much better. Just a minute. I've been longing to get rid of this.
What does Sir Geoffrey have to say?
He wanted to know if our chap was safely out there.
And you told him?
Yes, he also wanted to know if we'd had any reports from him.
And you didn't tell him?
No. Nor did I tell him how we proposed to get the two of them out. How do we propose to get them out?
Here they are, sandwiched between British Guiana on the one side and Venezuela on the other. Now, the main route to the sea used to be through... The main route to the sea used to be through British Guiana. But now there's the question of the big-inch line, which Johnson says will go that way.
I'm afraid the jargon is unfamiliar. Big inch?
Yeah, 24 inches diameter or more, with pumping stations on the other side, here and here, which is bound to mean less work in British Guiana, increase unemployment there. Government isn't going to be any too pleased.
Oh, the government will be soothed by the usual means. Lunches given by the oil concerns for a few selected ministers. Hints of the odd directorship at the end of the parliamentary career.
No, you're being too cynical, Eldon Jaw. Our government has the interests of the people at heart.
My dear fellow, I have told you before, always wear a wide-brimmed hat when you walk in the sun.
Output is already showing signs of increase. There is a new spirit among the workers. They're solidly behind the new regime. A new era of prosperity lies ahead. New schools, new universities, new chances for young people, such as Miss Gonzalez here. She's doing a highly skilled job. In the past, our young women had no chance to develop such skills, but the bad old days are gone.
I was under the impression it was the old regime who insisted that the oil companies train the local people instead of bringing in their own expatriate staff.
Oh, something was done. I would not want to deny that. We did not, as you say it, throw out the baby with the bath oil.
And doesn't it worry you about a possible counter-revolution?
Oh, not a chance of it, my dear old chap. The public does not want any more upsets. The workers do not want them. They have never had it so good. Yes, I'll come and sign them at once. Well, mustn't hold things up, but please, do look around. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
I'm interested in exports, too.
I think we have him hooked.
How can you be sure?
This girl, Maria, has seen the president's seal. The Englishman brought it with him, so he must be genuine.
This Maria, I mean, she says she's seen the seal. She says he's genuine. Can we trust her?
She's one of us.
One of us.
We're on the same side now. We both want the president back. You have your reasons, Maria hers. I have mine.
Tell me. Were you a great supporter of the president before all this happened? Were you one of us then?
I was educated at the same convent as the president's wife.
Yes, but you didn't keep up the friendship after her marriage, did you? Didn't come down to the capital very often. You kept your distance.
We had our family estate. Kept us very busy.
So busy you didn't even have time to see your old friend? Perhaps you thought she'd married beneath her, hmm? Yet now you're here.
When the revolution came, we soon learnt where our loyalties lay.
Oh, yes. It's very wicked of the new government to pinch all your land, wasn't it? I suppose that's why you want the president back.
Our land is gone. My husband was killed. The past can't be restored unless we both help to get the president back. Well, surely we have that in common, you and I.
We haven't got anything in common. Except perhaps a mutual hatred of the present government.
Which Maria shares. It was she who got the message out of the country. Why should she take such risks if she weren't loyal to the president? Even when the man was dragged out in front of her eyes and shot.
What man?
I don't know his name, but he knew of me and told Maria to get in touch with me. Then he was executed. I never saw him.
Well, you see, that's the way we must always work. We're not just a little clique of high-class friends, you know. No one must know anyone except the next link in the chain. That's why I don't want to know this, Maria. All I want to know is, can we trust her?
We must have confidence somewhere in someone.
All right, no? All right. Now, you get Maria to bring this man Johnson here. Then send her away. And make whatever arrangement Johnson wants. Then when everything's ready, I'll bring Pedro da Silva here. All right?
Yes, I've contacted the exporters. They agree to our guarantees. It's just a question of shipment.
When can you inspect the consignment? Tomorrow, good. Do you anticipate any problems on the way?
There are still road and rail difficulties on the British Guiana frontier. Customs officials this side are working very much to rule. Difficult to say, some months at least. Traffic consists of industrial equipment, food, samples of crude...
What? Just a moment. Crude?
He'll be referring to crude oil, the raw stuff, unrefined.
What an unpleasant picture. Now, tell me, Johnson, what policy are the various exploration and development companies adopting? I assume the Americans in our own consortium are still operating somehow or other? Yeah. Yes, I see. What? An abandoned drilling site? Where? Just a moment. Yes, I've got it. A caravan. Couldn't be better. Do you know any of these Americans personally? Oh, splendid. Now, tell me, my dear fellow, how is your love life these days?
Look, this is rather a bad line. I thought you asked... Oh. What? Well, I don't know if she'd agree. I mean...
And once you've set it up and convinced the American, make sure the girl leaves. Get her out of it. Yes. And good luck.
Huh, very ingenious. I gather Johnson was a bit shy.
One feels he's not been in the habit of taking beautiful girls to remote little love nests.
It's an easy habit to acquire.
Perhaps he's afraid it'll be difficult to break.
Ah, here it is. Just a little old home on wheels. Don't worry, honey. It won't roll out from under you. It's well anchored. That's the first essential, isn't it?
But it's beautiful.
Oh, I wouldn't call it beautiful. Functional, yes, but that's about all you can say about it. Well, you're not here for the view, are you? Well, you know, you can get pretty tired of this little old box, especially when you've been cooped up in it for months on end. Oh, not that I think that you folks are going to have time to get tired of it, eh?
Look, Klinger, I appreciate this very much indeed. It's very good of you. It's very understanding.
Oh, it's nothing. Look, I'm only glad to be able to help out. Well,
It'll do the place good to be lived in for a couple of days, eh? Give it a bit of airing.
Do you live here all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, the life of an oil man is tough and dirty. Well, we don't all get it laid on the line, so to speak. Hey, Johnson?
And look, you're sure that nobody will be coming back here collecting tools or starting, operations again or anything like that?
No, don't you worry about a thing. Look, you won't have any unwelcome callers. There won't be any more drilling here. No more work here until we get that clearance from the new government. So, you're going to have all the peace and quiet in the whole world. Take it easy, eh? And make this a real rescue.
Are you sure I won't be getting you into trouble?
Quit worrying, Johnson. Look, boy, when you got the oranges, you don't go worrying about the pips. Some guys are never satisfied. Well, I guess maybe I just haven't got what it takes, eh? It must be all this limey talk that gets you senoritas, eh? You know what? I'm going to visit England sometime and take a course, eh? An international course, eh, Johnson? Well, goodbye, and have a good time. Hey, don't overdo it, will you?
I'm sorry he was so...
Please, I don't mind. There are worse things than having people think one's having an affair with an attractive man.
Thank you very much. It was certainly the most convincing way I had of explaining why I wanted the keys to the caravan for a little while.
It was a brilliant idea, and you were very clever to think about it. Now, come on. Let's make ourselves comfortable.
I'll just get the stuff out of the car.
Now, wait a moment. In case your American friend hasn't gone yet. We'll just stay here for a while. I mean, we so much want to be alone together.
Yes. Yes, you're right. You're right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Mr. Johnson, are you married?
Not anymore.
Is your wife dead?
No, she went off with someone else.
Oh, I am sorry.
So was I at the time.
But you never married again?
Well, the opportunity has never arisen, you see. I've always found far too much work to do.
You mean you've made yourself do far too much?
Yes, well, I don't ask myself questions like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked.
No.
Let's forget it.
It's quite all right. I mean, I don't mind talking about it now. She went off with our general manager, about 10 years ago, Middle East. Community very much like this. Well, there's always somebody who starts an affair with somebody else's wife, and this time, well, it was mine.
But you didn't go on working there afterwards?
Oh, no. They sent me out on another location, out in the field, just to take my mind off it.
They sent you where? But the other man, the general manager.
He was too good to lose. You see, it was just a tactful way of separating us. They were very decent about it.
Decent? You've got some strange ways of saying things. And you mean you let them go on using you?
No, we're all used one way or another. Look, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll have lunch in about half an hour or so and wait here till it gets dark. Then I'll run you back into town and bring young De Silva back here with me when I come.
I wish I could see him.
Oh, no, out of the question. That's the rule. It's the only way to keep your underground movement working. As few people as possible involved in one spot at the same time.
Oh, I know. It's just that after working so hard for him, it would be good just to see him once again.
Again?
Oh, I knew him when he was a boy. Only slightly, you understand. Our family were poor and we didn't mix in such circles.
Yeah, but the president himself was poor when he was young, from all I've heard.
Oh, yes, but his wife was rich and she poured all her money into the cause. And it was a good cause. But now?
It's not going to be easy getting young De Silva out, and if he doesn't make the attempt soon...
If he doesn't, then the army supporters will be firmly in power. And before our people realize what's happening, it'll be too late. Oh, the new government makes its promises. There are new schools and hospitals and universities. And there's employment for us all in the industry. But what happens if the oil fields run dry? What happens if they find a better supply on the other side of the world? What then? What good will our education have done us? It's fitted us for specialized tasks, but what if the tasks are no longer needed?
And you think President De Silva wouldn't have let things happen like that?
No, he would not. Let the people know before it's too late that the president and his son are waiting to come back. They won't have long to wait. We'll make it so that they can return.
You're quite a fanatic, aren't you?
Today there is no choice. You must be on one side or the other.
Why must we wait there? How do we know we won't be surrounded? Could be a trap.
The drilling site is rather close to the border, Mr. Johnson. Naturally, we trust your judgment, but...
Look, I just want to know why we've got to wait there. And how long for?
Look, you must wait because although I know how to get young De Silva out of the country, I can't guarantee just when. He's got to be there, ready to move when I call for him. He's got to be in the right place, and I will decide the right time.
We put in a great deal of work, you know, to make sure he's delivered to the president safely.
And what do you think I've been working for?
Mr. Johnson, my brave friend here is not used to, how shall I say it? He is a man of action. Not too happy when it comes to a matter of patience, of waiting.
It's the men of action who
has overthrown the president, killed my husband, and trampled on all the good things.
And who are your only hope of restoring the good things, Senora. Now, may I meet young Mr. De Silva?
Mr. Johnson, this is Pedro De Silva, the son of our president.
I'm glad we meet at last, Mr. De Silva.
I'm now in your hands.
Everything's fixed.
So I hear, and all without complications, so smoothly.
Well, it's difficult to promise that anything in this world is absolutely foolproof.
Or killer-proof.
Please, don't make such a joke.
Forgive me. Mr. Johnson, I understand there was a young lady in this caravan of yours. I do hope I've not spoiled some pleasant diversion.
It was arranged purely as a cover to convince my American friend. There was nothing personal in it, absolutely nothing.
Naturally, I was joking. And now?
The car is outside. I think we ought to depart at once.
Signora, my mother spoke of you so often, but I never thought we would meet as we have done, or that you do so much for me.
Safe journey to you. Speak well of me to your father. Tell him there are so many of us waiting for his return.
Just arrived by airmail from Johnson. First part of a report on developments in the oil industry out there. He wants us to pass it on to his firm. I don't know how he finds the time for all this.
Oh, Johnson always did believe in mixing business with, business.
Some interesting stuff about the oil line between the two countries. They've already started on a 10-mile spread on the Venezuelan side. Martinez has taken a couple of trenchers and backfillers off his product lines.
Trenchers, backfillers. You've been burning the midnight oil.
And assigned them to this project.
Fine example of mutual cooperation and the good neighbor policy. Yes? Yeah? Thank you. Johnson showed the seal, and the goods have been delivered to the siding.
Now all we need is the time of the next freight train. Johnson can dig that out of his old chum Martinez. Oh, we're getting along splendidly.
I don't think Johnson is taking Martinez too much for granted. I mean, we don't know what schemes of his own he may be mixed up in.
Well, I think the man's too shrewd to get mixed up in anything too dangerous. While everyone else is fighting in the streets, he finds a comfortable chair and settles his bottom firmly in it.
Not too firmly, eh? If there's a threat of the president and his son being reunited and planning to return, he'll want to know which horse to back.
Try not to mix your metaphors. Thank you. The coffee. During the war, the Danish resistance had a habit of blowing up railway lines. When the Nazis put guards along the track, the saboteurs marched up in broad daylight, as though they were maintenance workers, laid their charges, and marched away again. Very sly of them. Very sly.
I think you'll find everything you need here. The bed has been aired. Oh, and for you, there's a folding bed through there in the forward compartment.
I shan't sleep. I shall keep watch.
I think that won't be necessary, Manuel. I believe we're quite safe here. I shall sleep very comfortably myself.
Yes, well, I shall return to town now. I'll come back tomorrow or possibly the following day. It all depends on transport timetables. Oh, but when I do return, you must be ready to move fast.
What's through there?
The compartment I told you about. The sink, the cooker, shelves on the right, lavatory on the left.
There's someone in there.
Look, the door was locked when we came in. You saw me use the key to open it.
Sure you locked it?
Well, of course. At least Maria did. Yes, I remember now. I helped her down the steps. She turned, slammed the door, and tested it.
I see. Your Excellency, would you mind waiting outside for a minute?
I think you're being too cautious, Manuel.
Well, of course he is. There's nobody in here.
It's my job to look after Don Pedro, Mr. Johnson.
I applaud your devotion to duty, Manuel, but I think this is unnecessary.
I don't think so, sir, if you wouldn't mind.
Very well.
Now, perhaps we could find out who's in there. Please?
Maria.
Who's that outside?
Now, it's all right. He's a friend of the president's. I told you to go home.
But I think I recognize the voice.
You've no right to be here at all.
Mr. Johnson, I just wanted to see Don Pedro once.
Oh, very well. Now, he's outside. See him, and then I'll run you back to town. Come along now.
But they shot you.
Not all the troops are loyal to the government, you know. But you disobeyed orders, didn't you? Now, you know the penalty for disobeying
What the hell
orders.
do you think you're doing?
It's no time to be squeamish, Mr. Johnson.
Look, I won't allow it.
You don't have a great deal of choice, do you?
Out!
No. You can't. You can't be out! Out!
Oh, very well. Let him come up. Norton. The Assistant Commissioner.
Oh. I know you don't like them, but I wonder if you can help me. 12 down. Looks like a quotation from Juvenal to me, with his Wordsworth's Day and most of the rest of the clues. Are you listening?
Not especially. I was wondering why everything is going so smoothly in Operation Da Silva.
This is one of our simpler operations.
Yes, I'm always mistrustful of simplicity. I'd feel a lot happier if Johnson had been reporting hideous complications every hour on the hour. Ah. Eldonshaw here. Yes. Trouble? We've been waiting for you to call. I see. A gun? No, you couldn't have been expected to guess. No, stick to the plan. It may go wrong, but I'm sure that no other one would go right. Here. Goodbye.
How clever of them. How very, very clever.
I have never followed the English custom of applauding the enemy, at least not until I've won and can afford to be generous.
They must have known all along that young Da Silva was still alive.
Links in a chain. If one of the links is faulty...
Maria Gonzalez?
Yeah. Working her way into the Loyalist organization, passing on messages given to her in good faith, and waiting for Da Silva to be brought out into the open where she can get it in.
It was a good job one of them was quick on the trigger. But if she got that close, what's to prevent others?
What else but our skill, my dear Dimmock? Good morning, Norton.
Morning. Now, have you got that chap Da Silva out yet?
If we had, you'd have been the first to receive our greetings telegram.
I see. Well, the Foreign Office is rather nervous. They don't want any border incidents, that kind of thing.
Oh, likely to be, yeah?
Guards along the frontier with British Guiana are being intensified. I think you'll find it a tricky operation.
Whatever makes them think we'd stoop to anything so obvious as getting them out that way?
Seeing everything you wish to see.
Yes, yes, your people have been very helpful.
But of course. You look a little pale today. Working too hard, yes?
I came here to work.
Ah, but some relaxation. You should have let me show you some amusing places. Find you a girl, maybe.
No, thank you.
You don't like girls?
I said I came here to work.
Typically English.
One thing I am interested in.
Yes?
The new pipeline.
Oh, but that is something in which we are all interested. We are very proud of it.
I haven't had a chance to see how it's coming along.
Oh, but you must. You must. You cannot leave here without seeing it. I will arrange it immediately.
Oh, you know, I've been thinking that if I could see the work on the pipeline and then go to the airport across the frontier, I could pick up a flight for home without coming all the way back.
Nothing simpler.
So there'll be no difficulties.
But why should there be? Difficulties?
Well, the airport, the frontier.
But why, old sport? We're very good friends with Venezuela now. You know, I think you still do not believe that.
Oh, yes, I believe it if you say so, but...
No buts, not a single one. Let me assure you, my dear old chap, there are almost no restrictions on that frontier now. After all, you have been our guest here. You have been, under my wing during your visit.
Easier still, if I arrange for the hire car to come back to the company here...
Oh, and then you can travel in my car, and that way there'll be no problem at all about the frontier.
No, that's what I was thinking.
24 minutes gone in the second half, and the tense crowd here at Brazil's Paxol Stadium is brought to his feet by a long, raking shot by Francisco Rodriguez.
Where is he?
He will come.
God, if there's any slip up now.
I feel that nothing can go wrong now.
But the wrong people might learn too much.
They won't.
And if they do, it'll be too late. I shall soon be in England. Have no fear, Manuel. I shall get there safely.
Are you ready to go, Mr. De Silva?
We've been waiting for hours.
Look, what have you done about her? About the girl?
Oh, I buried her in the woods. Let's hope they don't start drilling for oil there.
Now listen, we've got to walk quickly towards the autostrada. There's a truckload of pipe sections there, and I've arranged for a tire to blow. Martinez has gone back down the road in his car to phone for a repair truck, but we've got to get back before he does.
What excuse did you give for not going back with him?
Well, this drilling site belongs to a friend of mine. I said I'd walk over and have a look at it. Now, come on, we must hurry. Oh, will you see the Klinger gets to the key to the caravan?
Yes. What about the car you want to take him back?
Well, as I'm traveling with Martinez anyway, I've arranged for that before I left.
When we reach the frontier.
Leave that to me. All I'm worried about is that somebody recognizes him when we get to the airport.
Look, he's had no publicity, even in his own country. It'd be a very funny coincidence if someone happened to recognize him at the airport.
Yes, well, we've managed without coincidences up to now. Let's hope we continue to do so. Yes, Martinez coming back now. You better go.
I think we can say the goods will be delivered on time.
Last lap now. Another hour and a half, and Johnson will be delivering both Sun and Seal to the President. Interesting, that seal.
Neo-Aztec. You know that? Been in his wife's family for generations. It's one of the many things she gave him, not just the seal, but the right to use it as his own. He told me about it when we were finding that hiding place for him. Oh, really, Dimmock, can't you find something better to occupy your mind?
A readiness to believe that one can fly over the waves. 6 across, 11 letters, third one L, last one Y. Fair chance it ends in ability. Maybe not. That question mark usually indicates one of his more grotesque pieces of facetiousness or a misspelling of some kind.
A readiness to believe, I wonder. I still say it was too easy.
Johnson tends to play things down, stiff upper lip and that. Probably a lot stickier than he tends to make out. You think someone's tailing him?
I don't know.
Suppose Johnson and the boy are being used to lead the way to the President.
Security is too tight from here on. Nobody could follow them without being observed. Nobody could get into that oast house.
Nobody?
Only if the doors were open for him. Supposing Maria wasn't a clever one after all. Suppose they'd been even cleverer than that.
Maria was in fact loyal to the president.
If she was killed, not because she was a would-be assassin face to face with De Silva, but because she was a loyalist who recognized that he was not De Silva. Suppose we've been outplayed all along the line.
There's something wrong. My father cannot be here.
No, nothing's wrong, nothing wrong at all. Everything's in order.
But where is my father? I thought he'd be at the gate to meet me.
Well, we're frightened of somebody taking pot shots at him. We can't risk him down by the gate.
Well, at the door, then.
Look, I think you'd better give this to him. He'll expect you to return it to him personally. It's brought you safely here. It must have been handed down through many generations, father to son, father to son.
Yes. Now the son is restoring it to the father.
The great seal of the De Silvas. Well, I'll leave you and your father to your reunion. It's going to be a moving moment for both of you. See you later.
Mr. Johnson. Thank you.
And who are you?
You fool! You old fool! We killed him. We killed your son. He's dead. Long ago. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. When they brought me the news, I was foolish enough to allow myself a flicker of hope.
And that's for Maria.
Oh, this will please our friends in the Foreign Office. President Da Silva announces his intention of leaving Britain in a few days' time for South America. He's hoping to rally enough forces for the eventual overthrow of the present military dictatorship.
The moment he moves, they'll be after him again. How's he going to get to South America?
That is not our problem.
At least I hope it isn't. So Maria Gonzalez was not the last one to die for that particular cause. It'll all start all over again.
I suppose the president feels that now he has nothing much to live for. He may as well find something to die for.
Oh, I never did finish yesterday's crossword. What was that one about a readiness to believe that one could fly over the waves, 6 across? Gullibility.
I think it's time we started taking another newspaper.